everyone, welcome to the playthrough for Pro Division in the Voyager tournament. This video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so let's go! We're going to start off with hole number 1, we're going to play with an XMI level 7 and a Titan ball. And now with this type of wind, we're going to go over on the left side. The only reason I would not go over on the left side is if we would be having a driver that wouldn't be that upgraded, like for an example the XMI level 4 or 5, maybe a quarterback or something like that. But important here that you actually put yourself in the situation that we can reach over. Power 3 ball is preferred, and it's not a demand, but it's preferred. It's going to help you get over. I do go max overpower with XMI level 7 and max topspin as well, with side spin to the right. Just stay away from the left side really, but even if we find ourselves in the rough on the left side, we're going to be able to reach for the green in 2. So we found the way over there. If we wouldn't be having that drive, for an example, let's say we don't have them upgraded for a reason, then we would be playing on the right side. We're going to play ourselves with 4 to 5 bars of topspin and having that landing position that would be just before the water starts, with as much side spin to the left as possible. And then we're going to add 10% to our drive. That is something that we're going to add as well from the left side. We do need to add 10%. So our opponent here is going to play with a Quasar, and the Quasar here is going to of course be a possible ball to play with, but be aware, our opponent hit it absolutely perfect. Play with a power 3 ball, give yourself that room to hit the ball great when you do have to overpower, otherwise it's going to be tough. If you do have a power 4 ball, power 5 ball, absolutely in a better way, but we might not have those special balls in a bag, but if we have them, it's definitely going to help us. So, second shot here, now we're going to play with the Goliath in minimum distance, just before the rough, trying to bounce ourselves towards the pin. We're going 1 cup on the right side of the pin, just to counter for the push that we're going to get with a 6.3 in crosswind. 6.3 is going to give us 2.3 rings, and that is something that we're going to go with here at 2.3. And as you will be able to see here, this is definitely a very good opportunity to make an albatross from distance. It looks like we're coming in a little bit too much to the right here, and as you can see that we do, just a tiny little bit to the right, but good speed from that distance. And the reason why I choose to bounce before the bunker instead of go after the bunker is because the backspin on the Goliath level 7 will not really cut it. Just going after the rough, then we will need to rely on the bounces be very much in our favor, because of course the ball is going to get a different type of bounce if we're going to use a lot of backspin there. Our opponent is going to try to do the same. I don't blame him. Bounce before the bunker here, and this is a good opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. If we will be able to get an albatross here, it's going to definitely help out our tiebreaker big time. So gets up to the green here, no problem to get the eagle, but important here to at least give ourselves the opportunity with the drive so we can reach over 10% with the drive. Have that in mind. Hole number 2. Before we play hole number 2, check down in the video description down below to get the direct timestamps for the holes in the playthrough here for Pro Division. If you want to skip a hole or 2, you can do that by clicking on the holes that you do want to watch, then you will get directly to that specific hole. Here on hole number 2 we do have some tailwind, and with tailwind then we need to play with a club that give us a lot of backspin, and there is the Thor's hammer is going to be perfect. Even if you have the Thor's hammer level 3, 4, this is going to be a better club to use than playing with an extra mile. So the thing that we don't want to do is of course first and foremost play with a basic ball, because it's going to be tough having to overpower and stuff like that. So we're going to play with a kingmaker here. We don't have to, but that is to reduce the wind as much as possible. 4.7 tailwind. We are also going to play this one 20% extra. So we're going to go measuring ourselves up. The 6 bars of backspin is going to be perfect for us. Going to stretch it out, and then we're going to adjust for our rings with the Thor's hammer level 5 combined with 20% extra, and that is going to be to like 3.1, 3.2 rings approximately. Like I will say 3 rings, then it's definitely going to be okay for us there. So we're going to go with curl and no overpower whatsoever. We do hit it great, we do want to hit it perfect, of course, but as you can see here, we have no problem to bounce on the fairway here, to let this ball fall into the green and have a very easy putt for an eagle. With hitting it perfect would be even closer to the pin, and of course that is maybe too much to ask, but making a hole-in-one on this hole would be absolutely awesome. But making an eagle is going to be crucial, in my opinion, to get the goal in this tournament. So, okay, now we're going to play hole number 3, which is a par 3. And we are going to play with our long iron here. I don't believe that going with a wood club with this type of wind is going to be beneficial. So it's going to be important for us to just play with a long iron just before the first bunker, as our opponent is doing. But don't use backspin. Use topspin when you're going to play on that platform. Now he might going to reach over, but most likely not going to have the speed enough to get up to the top here and go short. As you can see here, getting up there and going to fall back down, and that is going to go for it's not going to be a very difficult putt, but it's going to be a putt that is going to be a bit more difficult, and also we are not going to be able to go for the pin with that type of adjustment. So we're going to play here, first and foremost, we're going to play with a navigator. We're going to play 1.5 bar of topspin without any type of side spin or to left or right. We could go with a little bit of side spin to the left or go with curl, but I'm going to stay away from that actually here for this playthrough. Going to adjust 10% extra with the Goliath being in medium distance of our club, which going to give us 3.3 rings. So as you can see, we're having the navigator here. We don't have to play with a power 3 ball here. We can play with a power 1 ball, will work absolutely perfect as well. Coming in nicely here. Oh yes, coming in on the right side there of the pin. But as you can see, we're coming up to the hill here and going to be able to have a very easy putt to make the birdie there for hole number 3 and hole 4. Let's go, hole number 4. Now we do have some tailwind again, and this wind is definitely going to help us big time to be able to bounce in the middle there or in the center, rolling over to the other piece of fairway and having a second shot that is going to be a good opportunity for us to reach for the green into. First and foremost, we're going to add 10% with our drive. So our opponent's going to bounce there as well, and as you can see here, with some pieces of the fairway, it's going to be very slopey and bumpy on different directions, and that is definitely not going to be positive for us. So we're going to play with a Titan here, give ourselves room with distance here, so we actually can aim without having to overpower our shot. And we're going to go with max side spin to the right, 3 bars of top spin, 5.4 with 10% extra. It's going to give us 3.2 rings, approximately like that with the extra mile. We hit it perfect. Now we do want our ball to go and bounce here a little bit to the right. The reason we use a little bit of curl to the right is that the fairway do push us a little bit to the left. So to counter for that, we're going to play with some curl to the right. Now from this distance we have an excellent opportunity with our thorn, with our baby thorn, to get this one in the hole. And of course, if you don't play with a thorn, you can play with a hornet as well. So, okay, now our turn here. Now we're just going to play it as it is, you know. And with as it is, I mean, like, if it is in medium distance, we play medium numbers. If it is in minimum distance, if it is in maximum distance, etc. We're not going to add anything for elevation. The important part for us here is to have the ball guideline just a cup to the left of the pin. or sorry, not a cup, but just to the left side of the cup where the pin is. So the reason for that is because we're going to get a little bit of a push for the crosswind that we are going to have. So I'm going to line it up, and we hit it great. We can't hit it great with this type of opportunity here. With a perfect, this most likely would have been going in. Easy to say so afterwards, of course, but do hit the perfect. Very important shot. So now we're going to play hole number 5, and here you see that with a berserker ball we could try to go as far as possible, but I'm going to play conservative and not trying to risk going max overpower with my drive and then risking going to the rough or into the bunker. 6.5 with 10% extra is going to give ourselves, what will it give us? It will give ourselves with XMI level 7 like 3.8 rings, something like that. And then we're going to go with 3 bars of topspin, max side spin to the right, and just the ball outside to the right. Now we do hit it great. Pray with us. Can we get it over there? Yes, we do. But we get it very close there to the rough. So very important that we do hit our ball perfect again. And of course, I say that so many times, to hit your ball perfect is not something that we can order many of the times. So, okay, our opponent here is going to try to line up on the left side. You know, it's definitely going to be possible to play on the left side now when we do have some tailwind, but I highly recommend with this type of wind, it's actually going to allow us to play kind of an easy drive here on hole number 5 and not having any problems to get this ball to go over to the right side. But from this particular distance here, we're going to have a very tough time to reach to this fairway pad that we're going to reach to now. So we play with the sniper here. And the reason I play with the sniper instead of a big dog is because we're going to have tailwind. Then we don't have to play with a big dog. We can go short and just use the wind in our favor to play with the sniper. And of course the sniper is going to be with accuracy and the ball guide so much easier. So much easier to adjust with. So would you adjust for 6.4 miles per hour here, 4 bars of backspin, and the reason we did have our ball guideline just like 1 square before the pin is just because we're going to have an extended ball guideline due to the bounce we're going to have. So important to adjust for the bounce. I don't know why I'm laughing to that, but so as you can see here, our opponent here is making one mistake here. It's like with this type of wind and with this type of club, he is or she is possible to reach to the fairway pad there, but decides to not do that. I don't know why really. I think it's just because you have to overpower, but play the right side everyone. 10% extra with your drive, 3 bars topspin, max side spin with whatever ball you have. If you do play with a Titan ball, and that does not have that much side spin as a kingmaker, then go with like half a ball of curl outside to the right. We did go with the ball just outside to the right, so have that in mind. So you need to just and if you play with a kingmaker, then you play it as we did here, but make sure hit perfect with your drive so you're not risking the rough to the right. So let's play hole number 6, and now we're going to play with the quarterback. I know there will be many players that are going to play with the sniper here, but I do like, as we don't want to come in too hot towards the pin, then I do like to play with a lot of backspin here. And with the quarterback here, I'm definitely feeling that I'm going to have a lot more control. 20% extra, Katana Power 2 ball. So quarterback 7.4, we're going to be in a minimum / medium distance, which is going to give us 7 rings. And giving a touch of curl to the right, not much, but as we can see here, we're coming a little bit too much to the left and should be going with a little bit more curl, and then we would be much more spot on there. So go with the ball like still going to be inside the ring, but like almost to the edge of it, then it's going to be absolutely perfect. So, but hole 6 here is going to be an important. It's an important hole to just at least lock in the birdie. I think that is very, very important. Our opponent here is playing with a gear ball. I don't know why really, but of course save your power 5 balls or power 4 balls here. I would rather see you using a more wind resistant ball. Now our opponent is a little bit lucky to get this one to the fringe, but if he would be staying on the green there, then it would most certainly be a pot you have to overpower. Okay, now we're going to play hole number 7. Important hole as well, because we need to go for the eagle. Important, important. So, our opponent here is going to try to go over on the fairway path there, and that is the same as we are going to do. That is the same that we are going to do. Our opponent here is using way too much spin, or like way too little backspin. So we are going to play with a little bit more backspin here to let the ball stop here. We're going to play with a power 3 ball, important here. We go with a kingmaker to just reduce the wind, so we don't have to go with that much curl. Max side spin to the right and 3.5 bar of backspin. As you can see, we do have the ball guide line to be just on the tip of the bunker there, but we will have to have in mind that we do have a little bit of tailwind. So 6.5 going to add 10%, but I'm not going to adjust the full amount. I'm just going to adjust like 2.5 rings and then play with a curl for the rest. As you see, I'm going with like 1.3 ball of curl outside to the right, but it is a little bit too much. We do get a good bounce, but as you can see, we're coming in nicely here, but we're coming a little bit too much to the right. We're still going to have no problem to make this pot, but in this particular case, we would be going with a little bit less curl, and we would be going with 3.75 or like 4 bars of backspin, because we didn't hit the ball perfect, and like hitting the ball perfect would definitely give us a little bit more distance with the drive, and then the bounce is going to be a little bit longer. So I would say 4 bars of backspin would be the thing that we want to go with. So don't be afraid of going a little bit too hot towards the pin. It's going to be happening for many of us. The only thing that we need to stay away from is to be too far down on the right side of the green, like we are here. We are just on the edge to being too far. Or we will have to just get the ball to stay on the fairway or on the fringe on on the back of the pin. So we put it in, we take the eagle on hole number 7. Of course, that is something that is crucial in my opinion. With this type of wind, to be able to win the tournament, I do believe like hole number 2, hole number 7 is must eagles in my opinion. Hole number 8. Now we're actually going to play here from the center. I'm actually going to play with a different ball here. I'm not going to play with a power 3 ball, because then we are in between clubs. I'm playing with a Marlin ball. Then I can play my sniper in minimum distance. And I'm going to play the minimum distance plus adding 10%, because we're playing downhill. When we're playing on that down below, you can see here when we do get back to the tee there, 3 bars of backspin, as much side spin as possible with the Marlin there. 6.0, we're going to give ourselves 5.2 rings with the sniper in minimum distance with 10% extra. No curl whatsoever, just going to let the ball do the work and get it to bounce nicely. Coming in a little bit too much to the left there, but very close to it. And when hitting the pin, that would most likely be a hole-in-one. I do believe hole number 8 is going to be a good opportunity for us to make a hole-in-one. So if you do not feel comfortable going in the middle there, definitely being able to play on the sides there. Have in mind that that push from the slope, either left or right side, is going to be difficult to estimate where it's going to get you in the end. So with this type of wind, I definitely believe that in the center there is going to be a good way to play, in my opinion. So good shot from our opponent here, and this is hole number 8, so we're going to go and end up with hole number 9. How we can make that albatross happening, or can we just secure the eagle in a very good way? I don't believe that the albatross is going to be that like commonly featured in the tournament. I hope people will prove me wrong, but in the end, the second shot is going to be really tough, especially with the bounce and the roll. But first and foremost, we're going to play with a little bit more aggressive drive. If you do not feel comfortable going with a very aggressive drive here, then you should be bouncing on the fairway pad that you do have in the beginning. Just bounce yourself over with as much side spin to the left as possible. 3 to 5 bars of topspin, and stay away from using too much curl because we do have wind pointing right to left. So now we're going to play with a Titan, give ourselves the power 3, and then we're going to play with max side spin, 3 bars of backspin, and then we're going to just give ourselves max overpower with this drive. When we're going to try to reach over to that area, you can see it drops down a little bit, which means that we need to add 10%. If we're going to play it on the island before, we do not add 10%, we just play it as it is. Like, we hit the great on the left side, but I always do over adjust it a little bit when it comes to when I do have wind right to left, just because I do want to be able to counter for if I do going to hit my ball perfect. Sorry, great on the left side. But now we do hit it in a good way. As you can see, we did gain a lot of distance on that fairway, and from this distance we're definitely going to be able to play with the sniper. And again, I've chosen the sniper here due to that we do have tailwind for the second shot, and then it's possible for us to just play with a club with a little bit less distance than we would otherwise play with a big dog or with a cataclysm. But if you don't feel certain enough that you would reach and don't want to risk anything when it comes to the second shot, play with a big dog or a cataclysm. But as you can see, we have a very decent situation with the sniper, and if we can find this type of situation every single time in the tournament, then we're definitely going to be able to be very close to drop it for an albatross. 6.2. And that tomorrow. 6.2 wind. We're going to give ourselves 6.5 rings. So play it from max distance, max side spin. Wind home. And 1 bar backspin. But we're going to miss this one on the left side here. But as you can see, we're coming in nicely here. With a perfect, might be going in. We don't know. But at least it's a good attempt. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was a playthrough for Pro Division in the Voyager tournament. Playing from the second tee. And also check down in the video description for the timestamps there, so you can jump to whatever hole you want to watch. Patreon.com/golf-tommy for training sessions and text guides. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Good luck in the Voyager tournament.